Well, hopefully that was a quick ritual. Hello, everybody. And Happy New Year. Wow, it is 2024. Thank God 2023 is out of the way. What a year. I'm not sure I want to go through that again, or at least not in the short term. But it's over, it's done with. Happy New Year. And hopefully it's good and fun. And away we go. Oh, my camera's a little high. Can I tweak that? No. Can I just move that slightly? Possibly. Is that a bit better? Yeah, maybe. I might have to use a bit of blue tack and stick it in place, but there you go. Okay. So, as promised, the Lackey deck building tutorial. And last time we did how to install it and set it all up. Hopefully that's the case. And now we're going to build the deck, and this is how to do it. Okay, and somebody posted on the Facebook group a couple of decks from one of the Digest magazines or Duelist or something like that. So I'm just going to use that to create, oops, not the one I wanted, create the deck and use that as a sample. And the one I'm going to use is the new Aeon deck that was there with 3 adventures, some events, allies, locations, spells, tomes and artifacts, monsters. So there's a good selection of everything in there. And hopefully I might do it a slightly convoluted way, but I might use that to show all of the things that Lackey can do. And one of the amazing things with Lackey is the filtering and sorting out of cards. And when I first saw it used, I thought that would be brilliant for Mythos, because when you're in Mythos and you want a Boston location with a gate and the water sign, and you're constantly going through all your cards or your binders and whatever else, whereas with Lackey there are some very, very powerful filtering options, and literally you can remove all the chaff, distill down what you want, and you end up with the choices, and you can make your choices accordingly, what you think is best and whatever else. I know some of you have played the game for years and years and years, know every card's detail and can quote all the flavour text and whatever else, fine. But if you're like me, you're not into that and you can't do it, then this is the way to do it, and the simple way to do it. So in Lackey itself, I've spent a few moments and downloaded all the images. I've done my update. I've done a remote version to get the download, which is set in the preferences over here, pre-downloading of images. So I've got everything downloaded, and it's giving me a nice little message which can go away. And what I'm going to do is build my deck. And Lackey, as I said, has some wonderful, wonderful features, but it has 1 or 2 quirks. And 1 or 2 of these I have fallen through. I have created works of art when it comes to decks, and then hit the wrong button and lost the whole lot and can't remember them, and have a moment of reality impairedness instead of a moment of brilliance, and then totally lost and destroyed everything. Okay, so normally you have your open recent option up here at the top. Yeah, up there, top of the screen. I should do it that way, point up that way. And you have a browse option and a new deck. I'll just show you the browse option while we're here, because if we open the directory and in true style, there is nothing there. There was me thinking I'd actually got some sample decks in there. Oh well, that's an epic fail. But I'll sort that out. There are some standard decks in there that Alex Broadhead's put together and shared and whatever else. Okay. And then if you've selected one, open recent is there. But there is also new deck. And I would suggest hitting new deck, and then here you put the deck name. And the problem here is that when you close Lackey and whatever else, it doesn't save it. It's a pain in the backside for that. So I'm going to call it, is it Digest, is it Duelist? I'll call it Duelist New Aeon Deck. And if you hit the enter key after that, you'll hear the little card ruffle symbol, which means it saved it. And I can save it here and export it and copy and do things with it, etc, etc, etc. So when I go and get my wonderful little tutorial on my deck list over here, the investigator is the Sardonic Serpentman. Okay, so just note at the top here, top left corner up by 1000 Volt Ghost, we have deck 0, investigator 0. Okay, it is important that you put the investigator in the investigator set and the deck in the deck set. If you put them in the wrong place, then you end up, when you draw the cards, drawing your investigator, or invariably starting with trying to put them into play. So this is a simple example. It's the Sardonic Serpentman. I know it's the Sardonic Serpentman. I can just literally type SAR into the box here, and it gives me all of the options that start SAR, and here's our Serpentman. And if I double click on him, I will add him to the deck. If I select him, I can use +1 options down the bottom here. Also note there are +4, +10, minus all, etc, etc. And he goes into the investigators. Now, I believe, and this is my memory, which is not great, that there are options where you can flip your investigator, and the investigators in the real world are double-sided. It's just we can't have double-sided images. So I'm going to show you how to do this, but I'm not sure I'm correct. Okay, simple as that. Because I need to remember what the other side of this card is, and I don't know the game well enough, or haven't played with New Aeon enough in order to do that. So I'm going to clear our Sardonic search, okay, and I'm going to use the filters, okay. And the first filter I'm going to use is set. So on the left hand side here, yeah, over there, no, over here on the left. Okay, I feel like I should be in a 70s dance movie. It says set contains, and it says contains and new. Okay, so I've typed in new because I'm filtering for the new Aeon set. Okay. I can have doesn't contain new Aeon, which means I can remove new Aeon and show all the other cards. Begins with, is not, is greater than, is less than if there are numbers. I tend not to use the greater and less than ones and tend to go with the words. So if the set, this set folder now, tab here contains new Aeon, then this is now filtered. If I scroll down all of my cards, you can see they are all the new Aeon cards. If you follow this second column here, they all say new Aeon. Great, so I've got rid of all the other chaff and I'm only looking at new Aeon cards. Great. Now I want to filter for investigators. And again, you know, you're looking down here, we're showing 210 cards. I can scroll up and down the list if I really want. If I remember the name, I can type it in the box. But if I'm not sure, then I can search this time, or filter. This filter is actually the better word. I've filtered on new Aeon. I am now going to filter on I and N. I and N being an investigator. If I change this to M and O, I filter on the monsters. So it works on the first letters. So you can now simply go with A and L for ally, or A and R for artifact, or A and D for adventure. So you don't have to type the whole word in. You can just use the first letters. And that makes things nice and easy. So I need my investigators. I'll go I and N. Here's my investigators. I honestly cannot remember which one is the opposite of our Sardonic Serpentman. So I'm just going to pick the one above it, which is the Palid Programmer, and add him to the investigators. And I have two investigators, one I'm going to use and one I'm going to flip. Okay, if I flip it. If I'm completely wrong and you don't flip your investigator, that's only from my memory, then I've just shown you a nice way of filtering stuff. Hey, it works. Not to worry. Okie doke. So I've now got my two investigators in here in the investigator part. And I'm now going to add cards to my deck. So select deck. Here we go. And I don't want investigators at the moment, so I'm just going to clear that out. I'm going to remove the investigator filter. You see, you can just click the little tick at the start. If you click the text, it comes up with the box. So we just change the filter off. And here we are. And here we have all of the new Aeon cards. Back to all 210 of them. And let's get my deck list. Where's my deck list gone? Here's my deck list. So I now want two monsters. So we will now filter for MO. And I have got my monsters available. There are 2 Bockrugs, 2 Serpent People, and 3 Servants of the Silver Twilight. So let's do our Servants of the Silver Twilight first. And simply this time I've selected them and I'm going to go 1, 2, 2, 3. Oops. By adding +1, I've gone click happy. I've now got 4 in the deck and I want 3. So again, I can select them and -1 to remove them. What else? Oh, I say I misclick on Azaroth. Maybe I've got 5 or 6 of them. You can also use the -1 to remove one, but also the -all, which gets rid of the whole lot. So what else did we have in our 2 Bokrugs, 2 Serpent People? Serpent People, I'm assuming this is the new Aeon version. 1, 2 of those, and 2 Bokrugs. Now Bokrugs aren't here, so I'm just going to remove my 2 filters and go and search for Bokrug. There we are. Boink, boink. 2 of those. They're obviously in Dreamlands. Not sure what's going on here. That's some pretty weird shit, but hey ho, I know that happens in this game, so why the hell not just go with the flow? Maybe it's a typo. Who's cares? Okay, doke. Next, we want tomes and artifacts. Now, that's tome and artifacts, so I'm going to see if this works. Attribute contains tome. Now, can I do tome and artifact? No, I cannot do both together. Lackey doesn't give me that. But I can do tome. There we go. And everything disappears. And the reason is that the letters B and O, which I searched for my Bokrug, are still in play. So I need to clear those because of the filters. And all of a sudden, we need to turn on the right thing. Where are we? Tomes, not monsters. And we now want new Aeon tomes. And which tomes have we got? Oops. I really should stop doing that. Too many clicks. We have Massa de Requiem de Shugay. Where are you? There you go. Actually, let me just pull that across there a bit. And then I can keep my deck list on the right hand side. Maybe just move that up a tad. Get rid of some of that. So there's the Massa 2 of those. Chainsaw isn't a book. Dynamite's not a book. Neither is Tank, Frag Grenade, Tactical Nuclear Bomb, or the Shining Trapezoid. Yeah, the fancy diamondy, shapy, thingy, weirdy, wonderful stuff. So we've got our tomes in play. Let's go for artifacts. Here we go. We are going with 2 chainsaws. Having been playing Stella Clark in Arkham Horror, going through the Miskatonic University, I really do appreciate the chainsaw. Really good weapon in both games. Dynamite is not on the new Aeon list. Tank is. 2 of those. Tactical Nuclear Bomb. And a Shining Trapezoid is not on the new Aeon list. So I'm going to get rid of the new. And let's go with S in there. So I'm filtering purely every card in the game on AR, which is artifacts, and begins with S. Here's my Shining what is it? Trapezohedron. All right. Looks like someone's brain's been put in one of those things that you get your sushi in, doesn't it? And I also want some dynamite, so I'll change the S to a D. And, dynamite. I'm going to use the limited one, not the Scooby-Doo one. 2 dynamites. I got 2 dynamites in here. Let's sort this on. Oh, I got 3 dynamites. Too fast. There we go. Right. I'm paranoid at this point. New Aeon deck list. Save. Wait for the ripples of the cards. If they're filtering the cards like that and you hear the noise, it's good. If you don't, panic, save it again. So we've got our tomes and artifacts in. Have I got my frag grenade in? Did I get my frag grenade? No, I haven't got. Let's put the frag grenade in. So I should be on 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20. I've got 19. I am missing a card. Which card? So let's filter on type. So if I click the type If I click on name, it sorts on name. If I click on type, it sorts on type. So 2 chainsaw, 2 dynamite, 2 tanks. Yes. 1 tactical nuclear, 1 shining trapezoid, 2 masses. There's the masses. 3 servants, 2 servant people. I need another one of those. 2 Bokrugs. So that gets me my 20. Okie dokie. So now I want some spells. I want Steal Life, Call Power of Nyambi, and Dream Sending of Lackey. So we can change this to SP to sort out spells, and or I can even just go and get rid of that and go with a Steal Life. There's a Steal Life. I want Call Nyambi. I want one of those. I got Call Power Nyambi, and I want Dream Sending of Lackey. There we go. Clear those off, and this now leaves me 2 locations. Now, locations are where some of this stuff really does, or Lackey's abilities really do help. So we want New Aeon, and we want locations. Okie dokie, here are all the New Aeon locations, and we were going with the Carlton House Museum, which is a New York location. So what I can do here is on the, where are we, city. So if I scroll down this big old list and find city, and if this contains New York, this gives me all the cities in all the locations in New Aeon that are in New York. And you might find that, do you know what, I'm after one that's maybe got a gate in it, or one of these attributes. So we're going with the Carlisle House. Colosseum's not there. Dr. McDonald's house. And then there's a couple of crazy ones which are in Italian, and I'm not even going to go and pronounce them because my pronunciation is awful. So can we do this and go with, is it Italy? No, it's not Italy. That doesn't work. So it's somewhere else, and I'm not sure about them. Museo, let's see what we've got just for the purposes of this. So this is Rome. That makes sense. So these are all the ones in Rome, and here's our Colosseum. We've got Dr. McDonald's, 2 hotels, 1 museo, second psychiatric hospital, and where we go. Okie doke. So we've picked those 2 up. What else do we want? This is a ruined top secret warehouse, a second psychiatric hospital, and we want the wreck of Helene. Okie dokie. So they're all in now, and allies. Let's change this to AL for our allies, and we have Giovanni, we have Ozzy. What a great name that is. Brother of the Yellow Sign, where are we? And Reverend Baxter. Where are you? There's the Reverend Baxter Lully. And then this just leaves us with a few events. I'll search on those for events. 2 blackouts, 2 daybreaks, 4 hitch a ride. Hitch a ride is there. 3 hydrophilias, and a couple of nuclear winters. And I suspect these all tie into the adventures that we're picking, which is Ashes, Azahoth. Just note, I appreciate that some of these have got commas and things out of them. Sometimes in Lackey you can't get away with it, or it's awkward, or it screws it up because of the data. So we have to be a little understanding. Or please be a little understanding. Make them pay, and a night at the opera. Here we go. Here's our deck. We have 52 cards. We have 2 investigators, and because we've created it and we're paranoid as hell, I should probably put Paranoia card in the game completely. So here's our deck. This is saved, and away we go. Okay, now, just for demo purposes, and hopefully you're understanding, and you can have as many filters on as you want. You can change the values of certain things. So you can have doesn't contain gate, for example, so you can filter everything out. This deck is now ready to play. So how do I do this? How now I've created my deck do I play my game of Mythos? So 1, save it. 2, hit the load entire deck to you button, and this puts you in a play area, and you will see that you have a hand of 0, a deck of 52, discard of 0, story of 0, and an investigator of 2. And this is why you have a separate deck and your investigators are separate, because you can now go and click on your wonderful Serpent Man and just literally drag him from the investigator deck onto the board. Okay, and then here is all of our deck, which we can't see. I can click and shuffle on it, and on my hand I can draw a card, etc, etc. So here are my cards, thank you very much. And all of a sudden we can now start to play the game. For example, I can put Ozzy Orn down, I can put Sanity onto him, I can put effects on him, I can put health on him, etc, etc. You can go with the pluses and minus buttons. You can right click and use these options. You can rotate him in order to show that he's been used, or unrotate. You can turn him over and turn him back over, and there is a clear option where you've got shed loads of cards, you've rotated him, you've turned him over, and there's all of that stuff. And if you just take clear, it just removes him and resets him back to start. Okay, you can put notes on them as well, so you can put a note on him and close that, and you can then read your notes and etc, etc, etc. Let's just erase those for the moment. Clear the field. Thank you. Okie dokie. So you can then start and put things in various places. This is a monster, obviously. I can give myself a chainsaw. I can draw cards. I can play events. I can put things into play, etc, etc, depending on how I want to do this. Okay. Also note that there is this button on this right hand side in this top corner, which is really useful, and you can actually look at the cards that are all this is showing the other person's hand, which is a bit naughty, but this is so I can see me. I can't see my opponent's hand, don't worry. Oops, let's just do this, and you can see what cards are in play as well, and other things. You can also, and you see it here, have a test dummy, which you can load a deck to and swap things over, and then you can actually play their hand, so you can play against yourself in a 2-player game. And I know there are variations, and you'll see that with this in, see how the game flips, because obviously I'm switching between the 2 players, so you can play against yourself if you really want to practice, see how things go. You can load a separate deck to the dummy and play against them. Okay, and that's just a bit of practice. One of the best ways to clear everything else is to go for a new game, and that just literally clears everything. And I'll just because of ease to reset, I'll load the entire deck to me. Okay, so how do I play with somebody else who's living on a different part of the planet using Lackey? Well, very simply, you connect to the server. And in order to do so, you need to set yourself a name. It doesn't like the default name of set your name. So So we just go, and let's just call this a silly test deck player or something like that. Okie doke. And you can put emails and Skype addresses if you wanted to connect them. I don't. I wouldn't advise to it. I'm not a great fan of orange, so I'm going to go violet. Okay, and I'm not allowed too many characters. And there we go. So I go for a new game. And server, I can... Where are we? Where is it gone? Come on, come on, come on. This one must set your name. I've set that. Oh, it didn't take it. Silly name. Maybe I need to save the profile. Okie dokie. And now I can start hosting a game. This connects me to the server. Here we go. And connect to the game server over here. So let me just recap on that and do that again. In the preference, in the server option, you set your name, you then connect to the server, and you will see here that there are a list of people connected to the server, and it has whichever plugin that people have installed, Mythos being one of the many, many games. If you have the current plugin is also listed here, so you can filter the number of people. And literally you start hosting a game, you can have a number of players which you specify here. You can password protect it if you want. You can also have viewers or people that are allowed to watch, and you can literally go and host a game, and here we go. Here we go. So I'm now hosting a game. This slot here can be taken up by somebody else playing the game, or somebody else who's actually watching what's going on. And where am I? I need to load the deck. Here we go. Here's my investigator. Thank you very much. Here's my hand. Draw, 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 and start and play. Away you go. Okay, let's just get rid of that for the moment and have a bit more space. As I said, you can have multiple players, multiple options around here. The button on the side is quite useful, so you can see what people have got in play, because the screen can get quite messy. One of the problems with Lackey is that it only supports, or it has square images up here, and obviously our investigators are basically double cards. And unfortunately, the other thing is that some of them are certain ways around. So our programmer is quite nice, because when we drop over there, it gives us all of the things like our hand size and other bits. Unfortunately, that's not the case, because they're double-sided and printed that way. So not a great deal I can do about that. Okie dokie. And that's it. That should be enough to build a deck, log on, connect, have all your cards in there, and sit and play with people. If there are any problems, give me a shout. You can drop this into the YouTube, you can drop it into the Mythos group on Facebook, etc, 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 and we'll see if we can sort them out. But hopefully you'll have some fun and a good 2024 playing Mythos, should you wish to. Anyway, that's me. I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I promised I'd do this one. Hopefully there's enough there for everyone to be able to play. And if you want to see any more, then please let me know. But until then, happy summoning, and hopefully everyone looks after themselves.